On the program, we have a special guest, Mr. Gowon Gonkol. He is the State Coordinator, Agro Climate Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape, ACReSAL, Plateau State. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure to do so.
Thank you.
It has been captured on the news that Plateau State Agro Climatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape, ACReSAL, has awarded contract worth over 3,739,833,889 naira 90 kobo only for projects in the area of rehabilitation, reconstruction of Plateau Club Bingham University Teaching Hospital's gully erosion site in Jos, the Plateau State capital. This is awesome. This is a brilliant achievement, and kudos to Plateau State government for this feat. But first of all, we want to know on today's episode, what is ACReSAL? How is ACReSAL funded? And how is this project beneficial to citizens?
Thank you very much. Good morning to all of you. ACReSAL, I know you already know my name. Mr. Gowon Gonkol is the project coordinator of Plateau State ACReSAL. ACReSAL, I want to take you memory lane a little bit to understand what actually ACReSAL is all about. ACReSAL, as the acronyms implies, is Agro Climatic Resilience in Semi-Arid Landscape project. This project was sought by the federal government of Nigeria, and they discovered that the successor project, which was implemented before this project, was called NewMap, and ACReSAL is a successor of that project. They discovered that the project that was implemented it touched a lot of lives, and of course it addresses quite a number of erosion sites, gully sites across the country. And unfortunately, that project exited in 2022, June. And so that prompted the federal government to make an attempt with the World Bank. And the World Bank graciously granted approval to the federal government to bring on board ACReSAL project. The idea of ACReSAL is unique to northern Nigeria. Reason being that there are quite a number of challenges that are unique to northern Nigeria. I know all of you may know. Challenges such as land degradation, challenges like insecurity, challenges like poverty, low level of literacy, fragility in terms of conflicts, and a host of other challenges within the northern Nigeria. And so this project was, being agreed to be implemented in the 19 northern states plus FCT. Okay. So the southern part of the country are not included in this project. Now, Plateau State in particular was invited to participate in this project, being part of the northern Nigeria. And so there were criteria, there were guidelines that were set up for eligibility criteria for a state to participate in the project. And I think Plateau State in particular met all the criteria. Part of those criteria is the willingness of the government of every state, participating state, to pay in certain amount of money as counterpart fund, okay, and also have structure on ground in terms of office accommodation, in terms of technical officers who are well learned enough to, run the project. And I think because Plateau State implemented NewMap, it had staff on ground. It also have office accommodations. And so it came as easy as possible for Plateau State. So these were part of the requirement for a state to participate in ACReSAL project. Okay. On the Plateau, when I came on board, I think a month before the swearing in of His Excellency, okay, our Executive Governor, Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, who came on board in May 2023. So I was 1 month before he came in. Okay. And when he came in, he didn't rest. He was so passionate about the project. And so we put all machineries on ground to ensure that that project was officially launched. And the governor graciously agreed to launch the project sometimes in July 2023, barely 2 months before his takeoff.
Just like you rightly mentioned, in 2023, that's July, yeah, Governor Caleb Mutfwang launched the ACReSAL for Plateau State. And he came in with so much enthusiasm to ensure that Plateau State gets all of the World Bank projects assigned to it. And he gave you optimum support to achieve that, despite the fact that he did not appoint you into this office. Now, tell me, how will you say has been the robust collaboration between your office and the office of the governor, as well as the World Bank, to achieve those projects?
The executive governor of Plateau State is one person who is also passionate about greening the environment and also looking for credibility of who handles what in the state, despite him coming to meet me on board. And so he is somebody that is so loving, so caring, and of course, very accommodating. Most time, if I run into trouble, I meet him, he grant me express, audience and solutions to those problems. And that is why you can see massive implementation of this project going on the plateau because of his support to that project. Recall you asked me a question about gully reclamation or rehabilitation at Bingham University. Mm-hmm. So I gave you a preamble of how the project came to be. Mm-hmm. That gully site, Bingham University Plateau Club site, that is how that site is being named, okay, is a site that was earmarked for rehabilitations since NUMA project. Wow. But because of one reason or the other, and in terms of lack of funds, by the World Bank as of then, that project was not able to see the light of the day.
Okay, when you say new map project,
yes,
can you give us a specific year that project was supposed to come into bear?
Yeah, NUMA project was implemented in Plateau State for about 6 years. Okay. Yeah, while down in the east, that project had started for barely about 3 years before those of us in the northern Nigeria joined. Okay. So that project exited, as I told you, in June, because there are quite a number of challenges that led to NUMAP not implementing the project. Okay. One of the reasons is that before the site is being implemented, there are quite a number of procedures, and those procedures were made so difficult for many states to reach. Before the design was finally cleared by the World Bank, granted no objection, the life cycle of the project was almost over. So we rolled it over to this present project, and the bank also agreed that the design that was carried out initially supposed to be revalidated, and that was done. And that is why we were given, no objection to carry out the execution of that massive project, as you can see, going about around that gully corridor.
Okay, we're happy that those bottlenecks have been cleared, and now we have ACReSAL in its full birth.
Yes.
How far have you gone with this project?
This project was awarded last year, but actually the contractor went into proper construction sometimes this year in September. Okay. And it was about rainy season. and that halted the implementation. However, if you go to the site now, he had done very well at the site.
Okay.
You know, that gully site came about, the concept came about as a result of the effects of that gully that is threatening lives, threatening number of buildings within the corridor of that gully. And so we immediately swim into action, and that was why we placed the advertorial for the rehabilitation of that, and the contractor emerged at the end of it.
Okay, in this year 2024, do you have only the Bingham Plateau Club gully erosion, or you have other communities marked to benefit in this kind of project? Yeah,
this ACReSAL project, in fact, if time will warrant, I will tell you, is a project that is intervening in so many sectors of the economy. It is multi-sectoral. Basically, most sectors that this project addresses is environment, water resources, and also agriculture. And the implementation of this project is community-based. And that is why our presence are being noticed in so many communities of the state. Like we went to Guratok in Jos North local government. Instantly, the World Bank, in fact, promised to them that they will liaise with me, they will instruct me to impart that community immediately. And as I tell you, as I talk to you now, we had graciously donated tractors to some of this community. As a pilot scheme, we gave one brand new tractor to Guratok community in Jos North. We also gave one brand new tractor to communities in Ampang, in Mangu local government. So, in fact, they have written to us appreciating us of the efforts. Apart from those tractors, we have procured quite a number of crates, which is used for storage, is used as storage facilities for transporting Irish potatoes, tomatoes, and other products that are perishable, and they are usually produced on the plateau. In fact, for those equipment, we have distributed over 10,000 to communities across the 3 senatorial zones of Plateau State. Beautiful. Yes.
That's great. Okay, we'll take a short break now to bring you some of the activities on the plateau by ACReSAL. And when we return, we'll go in for more discussions. Stay with us.
We therefore want to congratulate the team with all the participating ministries and the project coordinator for bringing this to this point. And let me say this, that even though we're doing well, we need to do better. We need to accelerate this project. I'm not happy to hear that we're number 3. I want us to be number 1. I would love to have a monthly briefing on this project and make sure that we are progressing at the speed we need to progress, and that all the impediments and challenges we find on our way, we must take them out of the way. I hope we will take heed to this and make sure that we continue on the path of prosperity. The reason why we are trying to redeem and remedy the land is so that our people will prosper and that we will be lifted out of poverty.
Okay, you can stand there and have a photograph with His Excellency. And Juliana, after this, we will have a national anthem.
It's good to have you stay with us on Government House Diary. Before we went on that break, we had an extensive discussion with this project coordinator for Plateau State ACReSAL, Garba Gonkol, and he has so much to let us know into the activities and programs of ACReSAL on the plateau, with a full support of the Plateau State government under the leadership of Governor Caleb Mutfwang and World Bank project. So, you were talking about the gully erosions, and we now delve into some of the activities of agriculture powered by the World Bank in Gora Top community of Jos South local government area. Can we have more? What has ACReSAL achieved in the area of agriculture and water resources?
Thank you very much. ACReSAL, as I told you, is anchored by three ministries.
Okay.
Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, and Water Resources. And you talk about water.
Yes.
You know, people say water is life.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, ACReSAL on the plateau, being mindful of the scarcity of water in some communities, and on usually some on clean water that people bring on the plateau, that prompted us to, you know, make a request through our annual work plan to the World Bank and procurement plans. The World Bank graciously granted approval for us to impart our communities with solar-powered boreholes.
Okay.
In fact, at the first phase, we had drilled 4 number of boreholes in 8 local governments of Plateau State, cut across the 3 senatorial zones.
Okay.
Right now, the contractors are on site to drill about 4 number of solar-powered borehole in 3 different local government again on the plateau.
Wow.
So
can you just tell us the local governments that have benefited so far? Yeah,
those that have already been completed and handed over include that of Panshin, Kanke, also Bokos, Barkiladi, and Mangu is ongoing right now. Jos South is also ongoing. Jos North is also ongoing, and even Bassa, and lots of other local governments that this project has imparted in terms of the supply of solar-powered borehole. And so we are doing more, and more other local governments and other locations across the state will be impacted by this. Yes.
Do you intend to peradventure go into dry season farming?
Yeah. Honestly, the idea of this water supply is not only for domestic purposes. It's for irrigation purposes, domestic purposes, as well as for animals to take. And that is why when we want to, you know, site a place, when we are looking for site for these allocations of this borehole, we look at a place where there is cluster of people, and then there are farmlands within that vicinity to enable farmers practice dry season farming. So that is what we always said, farmers-led irrigation. That is key in the implementation of ACReSAL project.
Okay, I see ACReSAL giving a good might at the Jos Wild Life Park with a block of activities and some green man standing. What is it all about? Is it a green world revolution? What is it?
Oh yeah, great. That is a good question. You see, part of the mandate of ACReSAL is greening the environment. We have a slogan. When you said ACReSAL, then you will somebody will answer you, greening the environment, saving lives. That is the slogan of ACReSAL. Greening the environment, saving lives. Yeah. Okay. So you see, Wildlife Park is a very special site to ACReSAL Plateau. Why did we take special interest on Plateau Jos Wild Life Park? The reason being that this park was established as far back as 1972, before some of you were born. But if you look at the dilapidated nature of the park, you would agree with me that it needs intervention. And so Wildlife Park issue was a case that we took to His Excellency.
Okay.
And of course, he granted us approval to request the bank. And the bank also accepted that we should intervene in that wildlife park and bring it back to life. Okay. And that is why if you go to wildlife park now, ACReSAL has done a lot and is still doing a lot to ensure that that park is impacted positively. Because you realize that in some number of months past, you have heard of the escape of some wildlife like hyena and so on and so forth. I think if you are on the plateau, sure, you agree with me. Mm-hmm. And that prompted us to, solicited the donor organization to grant us approval to fence the entire wildlife park. If you pass there now, you see the massive construction that is ongoing. So this is to prevent this kind of cases where animals will escape. And when they escape, they will be dangerous to the lives of people around that environment. So also you know that there are a number of activities, poaching that is going on within the wildlife park. People cutting down trees illegally and so on and so forth. So the idea is to, reduce some of these illegal practices within the park. And the park, if you've been there in recent time, you will see a lot of changes. Before that park, since inception, they have no sources of water. They have no source of water for the animals to drink, for the animals to even bath. Like the elephant, he needs to be bathing all the time. But most time the water is being brought through the tankers. Wow. But this time around, ACReSAL has drilled 4 solar-powered boreholes, wow, in the Jos Wild Life Park. So impressive. We are giving it completely a new facelift.
All right.
So
we're looking forward to the day we'll come and have like a good face of the wildlife park where people can go in every weekend or even daily, for recreation, for tourism and other engaging activities. And we say kudos to ACReSAL for making this happen. Okay, we'll permit you to reel out some of the activities of ACReSAL so far.
Yeah, basically ACReSAL presently is into a project that is impacting so many communities as well on the plateau. And that project is what we call rainwater harvesting. The rainwater harvesting, basically it was initiated to, reduce the impact of water that will cause degradations and gullies within the site which we are addressing at the Plateau Club Bingham University site. Okay. So the idea also was to, impact communities who are, running shortage of water during the dry season. So the ACReSAL also requested the bank, and the bank gave us go ahead to intervene in rainwater harvesting on the plateau.
How is that done?
Yes, the rainwater is carried out in this wise. The area that is close to the gully corridor, those areas, usually we call them areas that are very close to the watershed. And so those areas have been earmarked. It stretched from Hill Station Junction down to Gadabu site, to some part of Tudwara, Rukuba Road, as well as Jenta site. And also around Guratok in Jos South, it sprang down to even to do one of the district in Jos Jos South local government. Okay. What is usually done is that the consultancy services is usually carried out to map out houses. In fact, we are intervening in about over 2,000 households.
Wow.
We are providing them with the biggest tank that you can think of to collect water during rainy season for storage, for domestic use during the dry seasons, and as well even during the rainy seasons.
Tanks, do you mean overhead tanks? Or?
Yeah, those tanks are stationed to collect water from the roofs, and water collectors are installed on the roof of the benefiting communities. And so water are being collected. Presently, in fact, people don't allow me to sleep because those who were not able to benefit are calling day and night. Because initially when we went out to map out the houses, some say, these people are coming to deceive us. Until when they begin to see those tanks, those things are coming in reality, they now come back to request and begin to beg us that. And that project is still ongoing. Yes. So many communities are benefiting from this project.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I see you donate waste management boxes. How do you intend to key into sanitation on the plateau? Yeah,
good question. You know, when His Excellency came on board, part of what he immediately did was to, bring back the monthly sanitation. And so, through the Ministry of Environment. And so, part of our intervention as ACReSAL is waste management. And so, when that idea came in, we quickly realized that it is part of the government interest. And so we also make a request, and there was approval for us to purchase those waste bins for distribution to communities. And that was done through the mother ministry, Ministry of Environment. Every end of the month, last Saturday of every month is being declared sanitation. And so we discovered that the equipments for waste collections were insufficient. And apart from that, it may interest you to know that there are 2 heavy machineries that have been procured for waste management by ACReSAL. We call them payloaders. And they are ready to be commissioned any moment from now by His Excellency. So you see, we are all encompassing. Area of our interventions are everywhere. So I can go on and on to tell you some of the
all of it. Yeah, I can see that ACReSAL is keen into developmental projects, and that is what Governor Caleb Mutfwang is driving to ensure a rehabilitation of the environment, a rehabilitation of the livelihood of citizenry, to ensure a good plateau, a green plateau, a friendly plateau for citizens, for you and I. Let's join hands together with ACReSAL. Please be compliant and ensure we have a great plateau. My name is Anna Paul Gendry. Join us next week for another interesting package. Thank you so much for being on this program.
Thank you so much.
I know you will join us again.
Thank you. I'll be willing to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.